name is Sarah Glassmeyer, and I am the Director for Data Curation at Legal Tech Hub. Today, we are talking to Sergey from Beagle to learn about cruelty-free document review. You get an idea of how this product got started and what it all can do, and then we're going to dive into, at the very end, do a demo of the product. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me, Sam.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. What is your background? How did you decide to jump into the world of legal tech?
Yes, I have a technical background. I'm a machine learning researcher with a PhD in this field. I've been working in a few research departments, IBM, AIG. At some point, I was co-founder of a startup in the field of computer vision, which was acquired by Snap, and I worked there for quite a while. But as a machine learning researcher, I was following the advancements and adjacent fields as well, and I saw a very noticeable progress in the area of natural language processing and understanding. And my idea was that it definitely could be applied to solve real world problems. So I've spoken with a friend of mine who is a practicing litigator, and he told me that indeed in his area there are a lot of routine tasks that people do every day. We had these conversations more deeper, and we realized that indeed there could be a lot of benefit from developing and a discovery platform from scratch that would have AI capabilities solving those routine tasks automatically. And that was the idea. So the whole goal of this project was to maximize the efficiency of legal professionals by taking away those routine tasks and automating them. And here we are.
So, I have to say, I love the name Beagle. It's such a cute idea of sniffing out the right documents. So how are people using Beagle in practice? What are the main use cases?
Sure. Yeah, the main use cases include the standard eDiscovery pipeline where we would receive the collected documents, attorneys would process them and tag them, searching through them, creating productions, like highlighting and redacting them, all these kind of operations. But also we enable several other use cases, responses to data breaches, where we analyze large volumes of documents and extract PII information from those. But yeah, our main focus is on serving general purpose eDiscovery needs by enabling users to perform all these operations that they need during the eDiscovery process.
So who would you say your clientele is? Who's the user base of Beagle? Is it corporations, small law, big law, all the above?
Yeah, so there are several categories of users. One of them is legal service providers who are looking for an alternative to what they currently use. Mostly this is relativity server because server is about to be decommissioned, and Beagle is a pretty attractive alternative to them because it offers the majority of the features they need, but at the same time it is not as expensive as relativity one, and it still can be deployed on premise. Second group, the smaller law firms and boutique practices who are looking to maximize the efficiency of their work. And Beagle is also a pretty attractive option because it allows them to maximize the efficiency of the work they do and maximize the outcome per hour that they are able to do, because again, they don't have that many people and it's pretty important that they spend their time efficiently. And the third group, the firms who are working on investigations, because Beagle provides them the capabilities to quickly dive into large volumes of data, extract information like personal identifiable information or health information, and they can do this work much more efficiently and also cost efficiently. And in terms of time, it would be much quicker than if they were using manual work to do that.
So, a question we always like to ask: what makes your product special? Why should people check it out? And I think the way I kind of like to even think about it: what are people going to love when they start using Beagle? What are the features, or what are the functions, or what are the little like differentiators that makes Beagle like a great tool to use?
Yeah, that's my favorite question. So it's the ease of use. First of all, I know that a lot of people are struggling to learn the sufficient extent the capability of other platforms. And it's understandable because those platforms have been developed for 20 years and it takes time to learn all what they can do. Opposite to that, Beagle is pretty straightforward and we try to take the best from what people actually need and not add additional complexity by adding more than that. Second, it's the seamless integration of AI, because again, when we were thinking about Beagle, we already understood all the capabilities that AI can achieve. And that's why integration of those capabilities in Beagle are much more seamless than just some additional features built on top of existing workflows. In particular, we have a concept of a job where the managers can assign a work either to people. The most frequent use case would be contractor attorneys, or they can, in the same way, assign this work to Beagle, and it would be performed by AI. And the workflow is, and the workflow here is like no different. So they just choose either one option or another. There are more examples like that. So that's why it's much more convenient to use AI than in other platforms. Third is the set of capabilities that we have in Beagle, because we don't really limit users to a certain use cases, but rather provide the general framework of saying and expressing what kind of tasks they need to solve and what outcome they expect to get in return. And of course, this includes the most frequent use cases, such as review for responsiveness or privilege for finding key documents, but it is not really limited to that. And if users need to extract any kind of information or just simply search for something that they can express only using natural language question, they can also do that by creating a corresponding job with the question that they are interested in, and they would get a response to this question with all the explanations and highlights to relevant parts of the documents that enables them to verify the results.
Hey, I'm ready to take a look at it. Do you want to share your screen and we can do a demo of Beagle?
Yeah. And before we jump to that, I wanted to mention a few other items, how we are different. So fourth is the pricing model. We don't intend to charge for hosting. So our price for hosting is pretty much flat, and it allows us to cover our own expenses for hosting. What we do charge is the AI usage, but this charge is usage based. So if users don't need it and they don't use it, the charge would be zero. And the fifth item is that we are allowing users to deploy Beagle on premise in their own Azure environment. This is a pretty important feature for many service providers who want more control of the data, of access to this data. They want to be able to quickly fix any issues if there are any. And I think in times when most of the current offerings are SaaS based, this is a pretty attractive option for those who can switch to SaaS for certain reasons.
Yeah, it does seem like everyone's moving to the cloud and everyone, that's the big thing, but interesting that you're like actually on-prem is a great option that you should, is the thing we offer still. Because so many are just cloud only now.
Yes. And as I said, for many service providers and their clients, it's critical that they can be in control of their data.
All right. Do you want to share your screen and we can do a demo? See how it all works together?
This is the home screen of Beagle, and the matter overview. In this case, we are looking at the litigation documents from the process between Walgreens and the city of San Francisco. In this case, the city claims that Walgreens was fueling the epidemic of opioids in the city. So this is what these documents are about. And on the data tab, you can see upload, data sets, different reports. You can switch to documents. This is the main tab. And here you would see snippets on the left side, preview of the documents on the right side. This is pretty familiar. This should be pretty familiar for users. They can see attachments, links to parent emails. They can choose what format they want to look into. Here would be the productions if there are any. Of course, they can use any kind of filters that they want, which include metadata of the documents and work product of users. For Beagle, they can use safe searches, see the statistics, all the searches that they do. So all of this is pretty familiar, but let me also show you metadata panel. The coding panel would be here. But where the power of Beagle comes from is in the use of jobs. And this is where we offer our AI capability. So if someone wants to review certain documents and get a decision about each document or get some information from each document, this is what they should use. And let's look at the example where we would use Beagle to respond to certain RFP. So we would choose the data, we would give it a name and assign this job to Beagle, but it can also be assigned to users. And here users can choose which model they will be using for that. Different models have different prices, so that's why the task is not too complicated. It makes sense to use the cheaper ones. And here is the main page for a job where they describe what exactly they want to know about the documents that they process. In this particular case, we would look into those actually real items from the RF request for production. For this case, in those two items, the city was looking for documents of communication related to marketing, promotion, advertising of opioids. Another request was about documents regarding any studies, research of analysis concerning the business of safety of those. And I'll show how this should be configured here. So we have a set of options. Like for those particular case, the type would be yes or no, because we want to know if this document is responsive for this particular request or not. But it can also be select, it can be text, date, integer, float, or even set of fields. In case of select, you provide your own options, and Beagle will choose one of those, or users. It's the same thing. In a set of fields, like this would be a good example, and this is actually a real use case from one of our clients. So they needed to extract key events from the case complaints that they had, and they had thousands of those. So this is how this could be configured. The field would be called key events, and they would choose set of fields. And importantly, you can choose the multiple option here, meaning that each document may contain more than one. And here they would specify fields, in particular date with the type date, description with the type text, provide the instructions for both of those. And as a result, they would get a table containing all the requested information. Again, the same process can be used for searching as well, because you may specify any type of question you want, select a subset of documents you want to analyze, just because you don't want to waste AI resources on going through all your data set, and get the results in a kind of yes or no option, or multiple selections, or even textual description if you want, and look into them.
I like this is very much, it gives people both freedom to craft their query in natural language and ask for what they want rather easily, but also provide some filters and frameworks. Like you were saying, you're not searching the entire data set. You can limit that. You can also really limit your outputs as far as like how you want it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I think, again, we are looking for efficiency. So that's why we don't want to waste resources, neither kind of time of that attorneys or financial resources on reviewing unnecessary documents. And yeah, I think we provide all the tools for that. I would also wanted to mention a few other use cases here. If you need a summary of a document, again, you can do it pretty easily by specifying the corresponding instruction and requesting the textual type of output, and even translation. So if you have documents on a foreign language, again, just provide the instructions, select the textual type of response, and you would get the translation in a separate tab. Yeah, let's look how the results look like. Let me select a corresponding job and switch to the table format. So here would be the corresponding fields that we requested. Let's look at this document, for example. So it contains some promotion materials about these long-term opioids. So that's why we see yes for the opioid marketing question. And we also see the explanation of why this decision has been made.
Nice.
Here you can read it that it contains promotional language focused on savings, rebates, so it's clearly a promotion marketing material. And you can also see the highlights here. For example, it shows like instant savings card, which explains why this decision has been made. You can manually verify if this is a correct decision or not. So we have two types of highlights, which can be textual, and these highlights can be added manually. You can, for example, choose a certain part of the document. Yeah, and you can search for those. As you can see, like we have textual search here. Yeah, you can just use Control F to search for certain words here. Yeah, this is how the results would look like. And of course, you can use these results later on in filtering, like you would be able to say that you want opioid marketing to be yes or no. So you can further make additional analysis on top of the results you already received. You can download documents. You can create productions with the documents. And I'm not going to show the whole flow, but yeah, you are able to choose what kind of documents go to productions, like what kind of formatting you have, what documents you withhold, what you redact, and so on and so forth. One more use case I wanted to talk about is the extraction of personal information. We have a special solution for that. Let me show you how that works. So first of all, let me show how to run that. You would simply go to job and request for creation of person's dataset. And again, you just type the name of the job, specify what documents you want to go through this one. And here you would choose if you want to create a separate data set or just the outputs only. And I'll show you what the results you would get in this case. So if this is, for example, let's say this document, and it's a pretty large document containing declaration, which has quite a lot of pages. We would extract all the names of people mentioned there. And if they have emails, we would extract emails, phone numbers, so on and so forth, as you can see there. And if there is any other type of information, you would see it here and you can turn it off here. We also extract that. But what makes Beagle special is the possibility to aggregate information across documents. You can actually choose a newly created data set that was assembled from the information I just showed to you across the document. And here you see all the people mentioned there. And again, like if there is the same person mentioned in different documents, we would get them in one here. And this is what can be immediately used for notifying affected individuals in the case of data breach or any other cases, because this is the final result that clients typically are interested in. So we do this job for them. And I know that usually it takes a lot of time, so we save them this time and enable timely review. But yeah, if you look at the results, like they would have first name, last name, emails, like whatever we can extract, and also references, like in which documents this person has been mentioned. Like it would be this one, as you can see. There could be more than one. In this particular, it's only one. And you can also search for this. You can also filter out by the corresponding fields. All other operations are enabled here.
Oh, great. That was very interesting. Thank you. I'm not a huge eDiscovery knowledge base. I know a lot about it, but I do know just enough to be dangerous. But yeah, it was very enjoyable learning about all the different use cases and I really like the clean interface and how easy it was to actually just set up workflows. Is there anything else you'd like to show us before we wrap up for the day?
Yeah, just very quickly, I want to show the search capabilities. I think I didn't mention them. So we support fully functional Boolean search, so you can use any type of operands like AND, or these kind of things. So if it is used, you can also see the corresponding statistics of like how many documents are responsive to each term, how many of them are responsive uniquely to this term. You can upload these search terms from the files if you have too many of them. Imagine if you have like 100 or so, like it would be pretty inconvenient to enter them in the search query manually. And you can also use some safe searches, which is again a standard tool, but yeah, we also enable that.
Great. Thank you so much. So I think with that, we will wrap it up. Again, thank you so much for joining us and for showing us all of the ins and outs of Beagles and telling us a little bit about the history of the company and how you got started. Again, my name is Sarah Glassmeyer. I'm the Director of Data Curation for Legal Tech Hub. Thank you so much for joining us at our product briefing, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.